Hey there, it's Pete over at the Sampleist, and today we are checking out the Evolution Classic Rick bass from Orange Tree Samples. When I think Rickenbacker bass, I think 70s and 80s progressive rock music, and that's exactly what this bass is all about. It could be really deep and earthy, then it could be snappy, it could be full-bodied. The tonal qualities of this bass is absolutely incredible. And of course, in true Orange Tree Sample style, every pickup, every nuance, everything has been sampled to perfection. And this bass has been made in collaboration with the Rosewood Recording Company. The Evolution Classic Rick bass downloads at 7.48 gigabytes, and it runs in the free contact player and is of course NKS compatible. What we're going to do in this video is have an overview, a quick look at the articulations and the sounds of the Evolution Classic Rick bass, and then I had an absolutely fantastic time recording a progressive rock composition, which we'll go into a little bit later. And of course, my thanks to Orange Tree Samples, because they sent over a copy of this last week just as it was being released, and I've had an absolute whale of a time with this bass. And of course, the fact we get the library for free doesn't influence our thoughts, ideas or decisions on this library, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is fantastic. If you need a bass and a tonally varied bass, I'm going to say this Evolution Classic Rick is up there with the best. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump in. And here we have the Evolution Classic Rick bass loaded up in complete control. And if you've used any other Orange Tree Samples instruments, you'll be right at home with this GUI. If you haven't, then of course I will explain what it's all about. At this point, I do want to mention it is the hottest day in the UK for the third time running. So as I'm recording, all my windows are shut, my doors are closed. It is really hot in my studio. In fact, the thermometer is reading 35 degrees Celsius. So if I say something a little bit bizarre or go a little bit loopy at some point, now you know why. Anyway, out of the box, it sounds like this. Okay, that is the preset called Evolution Classic Rick bass. So it's kind of like the unprocessed, almost like the as it's recorded, if that makes sense. But of course, you get all of these other presets that are fantastic. So they're a little bit louder, some of them as well. And I have turned off previews as well. So this is the Army Buzz. Beautiful. And let's go for Bite Body. It sounds great, and this is the brilliant thing about the Rick bass. It can sound really deep and full of body, or it can be really snappy. And Orange Tree Samples have caught that amazingly well, just the snappiness. So that's constant crunch on fresh wreckage. Oops. Sounds great. That was silly, and I'm breaking one of my cardinal rules. I do not talk over my playing, but I said whoops. Let's try that again. I wish it had a low D now. Like it's a 5-string. I know it's not a 5-string, but yeah. Let's go for Grouchy Scoop. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to explain that one. Okay, Organic Fat. Sounds great. You can just hear how this lends itself to prog. Rocky Fingers. Yeah. Love that aftertouch. Brilliant. Saucy chorus, because saucy. Amazing. And I was going to play one more. We'll go Thumper, which is a great name for a rabbit as well. Okay, so we get the idea. It sounds amazing, but there is so much more than just playing some presets, because you get all these articulations and you can map them any way you want. So we're going to stay with Thumper. Let's say I want to have a palm mute. Then if I use a key switch, it's now on C#1. If I hold that down, I get a palm mute. Beautiful. If I want a finger mute, I'm just going to do the next key switch. Lovely. And then harmonics, which I use a lot. So there, if you play a legato kind of style, it actually takes away the harmonic effect. So if you detach the notes, you get pure harmonics. And I do mention that in my composition as well. And then sustain, that's already set to velocity. Some kind of trill there. So you have these different oh sorry, that's picked sustain. So if you do want to have the fingered sustain, so I was looking for another key switch. So that's got a softer attack. So there you go. So you got all of those different articulations, and then, oh look, there's more. And that's what makes this really cool. So I'm doing everything as key switches at the moment, only because it's easier for the purpose of a video. Whole step slide in. Let's do a whole step hammer. buzz trill. Beautiful. So you can make really, really lifelike performances. So I'm not gonna. Oh, I could do power chords. Haha. I'm not gonna play all of these because, again, a lot of the fun is exploring for yourself. But this is so good. Yeah, bro. So you got all of those different articulations. Wonderful. And then if you go onto tone, let's go bring that up again. If you go onto tone, you have different effects that you can use, distortion, tremolo, volume in this case. Very sixes, very cool. Yeah, so I'm not going to play around with that, but again, if you just slide down, you can have wah, different effects, EQ, compressive, flanger. You could just go to town, have really, really good fun with all this stuff. And then the setup, again, stereo pick output, disable, bass pickup. You can decide which pickups you want to use, and of course multi-tracking. Do you want a single track? Do you want to just quad track it and make it really, really thick? It's up to you. Economy picking versus non-economy picking. Obviously, in guitar land, economy picking is a style of alternate picking to minimize your hand movements. But yeah, the attention to detail is just amazing. Just seeing everything that you can do with this is so good. So yeah, I'm just sort of scrolling through, but picking out legato control, sort of pick style. It's just cool. Vibrato speed, width as well. Really, really useful because that's on the mod wheel as well. So actually, I haven't played any vibrato yet. There you go. So you get control over vibrato. And there it is. That really is just everything to do with the Evolution Classic Rip Bass. You've got all these presets. It sounds amazing. You've got all of these different articulations and then loads of different ways to modify the sound. It really is everything you need in a bass to record bass and have bass sounding amazing in your compositions. But don't take my word for it. I've made a progressive rock composition, and of course we don't have hours and hours and hours to put into our compositions for the video, so we try our best to get something that shows the instrument off in context. But I'm really pleased how this one came out because I love progressive rock music, and it was just a lot of fun to make. And of course, yes, if I had hours, I would do more production and add different things and not be so lazy on the drums, etc. But actually, it's just come together beautifully, and that is down to the Evolution Classic Rick Bass being the glue that sticks it all together. So let's jump into the composition. there we go. We have some progressive music finally on the channel. So pleased because I love prog music. And I loved using the classic Rick bass. Obviously, it's a bass guitar, so I'm not going to have lots and lots of layers of bass and, I don't know, orchestrate a huge bass orchestra. I've chosen 4 sounds because I wanted to show them off in a mix with a full-ish band. So you can see we've got the 4 basses, and then we have electric piano, which is a hallmark of any progressive music. We've got some drums, just really standard, and then I've got a drum outro, and then I played in some live guitars, and it is the hottest day of the year in the UK, and I have to admit, I just loved making this demo, and the bass is obviously a huge part of that. So let's just see what I went for. We got the Ricky Bite bass, and it's just holding down a pedal. I went for something really, really simple, just 2 chords for this piece of music. And I'm going to play the drums as well. I'll play it from the intro, and then we've got a little drum fill. And it just reminds me of the amount of times I've sat in a studio, the drummer has laid their tracks down, the bass player has, and you just have that amazing drum and bass studio sound. There is no processing, it's all out the box on the bass, and yeah, it just sounds amazing. And then in context, I've just gone for 4 guitars, 2 playing rhythm, 2 playing a riff. And there we go. And of course, the electric piano makes its first appearance. Now we have Proggy Day, so I wanted a bass kind of playing a slightly higher part with a bit more movement, but it complements the Ricky Bite bass. And that sounds like this together. The low end is just fantastic. It's taken care of. It sounds incredible, and it sounds exactly like a Rickenbacker. It's just brilliant. So it is like prog in a box, as it were. A box? An instrument. That makes more sense. But again, you can always use different basses, different sounds, bass sounds for different styles of music. So I wouldn't limit this just to prog. I just wanted to show it off in a prog way because obviously the library screams prog at me. And I've been dying to get some prog on the channel. So, yeah. I don't know. Personal goals. There we go. And I've played in an electric piano solo as well to go with that. And, yeah, just about the drums. It's really hard to describe because Orange Tree Samples pride themselves on the fact everything sounds human, and it really, really does. Like it's just perfect. Like obviously, like we'd expect tuning and intonation to be amazing, and it really is, but it just has that human feel. I feel like the bass player is here with me in the studio. Yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. So, Yeah, now it must be the heat, because I think I muted the bright bass. Okay, so it sounds amazing, and of course, if you're going to have two of the same instrument, where possible, it's good to change like the processing or the timbre. So that's why I went for Proggy Day and Ricky Bite Bass. The Ricky Bite Bass is going through the entire piece. There we go. With just the whole section, like the guitar's holding down just some basic power chords. And if anyone's wondering, I did use a prog guitar to record this. I used my Music Man JP6 in Mystic Dream finish. That's the flippy flop, sort of purpley green one. Very, very cool. Very prog. There we go. Anyway, so we go to the next bit. Now, I kept the bass the same because this is where the shameless lead guitar comes in. Yeah, let's just hear it. But you know what? We want to hear the glorious entry. And you can hear there's a lot of talent expanders on there, so lots of reverb and delay. So again, you can hear the bass. We've got Proggy Day and the Ricky Bite bass just really holding down the low end, but because it's got this brightness to it as well, you can hear the higher parts working together and coming through the mix. And it is, obviously, it's a very light mix. I've not processed it as if I would. I would actually add some more instruments if I had a bit more time, and I wasn't feeling like I'm going to spontaneously combust any moment due to the heat. I'd add a lot more to it and do a lot more processing, but these really are all out of the box sounds for all of these instruments, so very, very cool. Now, the second lead guitar part, I just wanted to do some meandering 3-note per string nonsense. So there's a huge run in there, which I kind of record as a bit of a joke, and then I played it back and I just started laughing because it's very, very prog. So there we go. So this is the second section, and then we've got the Geddy growl bass coming in. So there you go. That is my prog statement of the day. Meandering 3-note per string legato. There's a bit of picking there. I don't know. Anyway, the bass is still holding its own, sounding beautiful. And then I thought, well, it's a bass video. And the structure is, I've kind of like established a theme. And then I've got an electric piano, because it's like a softer section. Then I've got some lead guitar, and then we've got the bass taking over until the end. So I put Daddy Growl, and I didn't go too crazy because we still got the other two bass parts going on. Okay, so that's the Geddy Growl. I think I just said Daddy Growl. I don't know why. Again, I'm going to blame the heat. But if I play these three bass parts together, it just sounds awesome. then I felt the electric piano should join the Geddy growl, and we've got the chords underneath all the way, but it sounds like this. Okay, and of course in context with some guitars and some drums. I mean, it's a single drum track, which I love just to be able to throw down. It just sounds awesome. That is the word I'm going to use. And then the only bass that I've actually processed by adding some reverb is the Proggy Day harmonics. If I just click solo. And they're really interesting in terms of triggering. So I use the key switch, so you hold the key switch down. But if you play legato, as it were, then it will actually cancel the effect. And I found it really fun to play around with a mixture of harmonics and playing. And of course, in the MIDI, if you don't want it, you can just detach all the notes, so everything's harmonics. But I like the fact you get the best of both worlds. And I did use it as a sustain pedal, to make it ring out a bit more. But yeah, so the ending. Prog. And of course, automated, there we go, a fade out on the master bus, which I left grey. I'm going to change the colour. Oh, no. You'd be amazed the amount of times I actually do that. Do you do that too? You can leave an answer in the comments. I don't know. But there we go. That is the bass, the classic Rick bass in action. And my goodness, it is fun. And it sounds great. And it's proggy as anything. But yeah, I'm absolutely blown away. As ever, we have some closing thoughts about the Evolution Classic Rick bass, and I haven't really spoken about what it's like to compose with. I've just used various adjectives like awesome and wonderful and heavy. So the composing experience is, if you want a bass player, get this. And you just have a bass player there, because not only do you have amazing samples and detail, you have that human edge, that human element. I can't quite put my finger on how it's achieved. I know it's a classic 70s Rickenbacker that's been sampled, but it just feels like the bass player is there with you. And of course, it's versatile. You don't have to just use this in prog. It leans itself that way, but you can use this in lots of different musical settings, music scenarios. Yeah, so it's a very versatile bass. And of course, it's easy to use. If you need articulations, go for it. If you want some vibrato, use a mod wheel, you can pitch bend. If you want to use the sort of pitch bend CC. Really, really straightforward to use, but it just sounds incredible out of the box. I don't feel like I need to process it that much. So to compose with, it's amazing. As a bass, yeah, I'm just going to keep going. It's fantastic. I love basses. I play bass. I cannot afford a Rickenbacker bass, and this sounds so close to it. I've got two friends who actually own them because they're full-time bass players, and it is that sound. It just sounds incredible, and you know it's a Ricky because it sounds like one, and you can tell it a mile off. So yeah, Orange Tree Samples have just captured a expensive guitar. It's a piece of bass guitar history. They've captured it into this amazing instrument. So I wholeheartedly recommend buying this bass, and I'll be using this a lot in my productions, whether it's pop music, I'm doing like corporate stuff, crime. I'm going to mention my tension. I have to mention it. It's so much fun. Then of course, if I do anything that involves playing guitars or heavier guitars, or tasteful guitars for that matter, I will be using this classic Rick bass. Actually, even if it's untasteful guitars and just bonkers, I'm still going to use it. I'm absolutely blown away. It's amazing. Yes, it is my first Orange Tree sample bass, but yeah, it's just really, really high quality. It's exactly the same quality as their guitars, which are amazing as well. So there we go. I love it. I think you'll love it too if you buy it. And yeah, all that leaves me to say is drum roll please. Can't do a drum roll in here. It is competition time. The amazing Orange Tree Samples have sent over 5 copies of the Evolution Classic Rick bass, so we can do a competition giveaway of this amazing instrument. All of the details of how to enter are found in the description of this video, and of course we're going to put this on our socials, on Facebook. It's going to be on a YouTube short, so don't miss this opportunity to pick up this amazing instrument. And now, my usual, all it leaves me to say is thank you so much to Orange Tree Samples for sending over a copy of the Evolution Classic Rick bass so we could make this video. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like on the video and drop me a comment, and I'll do my best to respond. What would you use this instrument for? What do you like about it? Just anything, really. And if you're not done so, please pop over to our other videos on YouTube. There's plenty going on. We just reached over 100 last week, so a big milestone for us. And of course, it's you guys who are subscribing to our channel and viewing that make us keep coming back and making more content. So if you're not subscribed, please do so. And of course, check out thesampleist.com to get to know us a little bit better, and that wonderful competition is going to be on there as well. Until next time, take care and have a fabulous weekend, and of course, make some amazing music. Take it easy.